It's just about 6 o'clock, Thursday, April 3rd. We had all kinds of weather last night. That was kind of amazing. I'm going to call the regular meeting to order. First item is set adjust agenda. Do we have anything to change in the agenda? Then we're going to roll what we have. Communication from the audience.
You gotta move, hold on, go back. Oh wait, do we change that when they're here? Do we record on this? No?
No.
Okay.
Audience is a little thin on the ground tonight. Amanda's got it under control.
Oh my God.
Select board first. So select board to approve minutes from last time, which was March 20th.
So moved.
You have a second.
Second.
I had one small comment. It's not totally substantial. It's not critical.
6:15, sorry. 6:15. Shit.
Anyway,
I gave her to rescue
I
the
lost
wrong
it.
time. Jeez.
okay, never mind. It's all right. Anybody else have comments? All in favor of approving the minutes as written, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is town manager's report. Mr. Upson.
Alright, I'm just communicating with Hardwick Rescue because
Great.
I gave him the wrong time.
Yep.
I'm still on the time change. Alright, so bridge projects. RFPs have been developed for engineering of 3 more bridge structures with Fisher Folly already advertised in the newspaper. Tucker Brook and Cary Road will be published next week. So those RFPs are for engineering. Okay?
Yep.
School Street Slide engineers have completed geotechnical borings to assess conditions. They did that on Monday. Last Monday? No, they did it this Monday. And the contracts prepared by SE Group, the AIA contract for CCS have been submitted to USDA for review. The monthly project budget report has been updated with the 200.
Wait, which
This is
Project.
the pedestrian
Head
bridge.
pedestrian
Ped
bridge?
Bridge.
Okay.
Has been updated with a 200K from the fund balance. With the signed minutes from tonight, will be sent after tonight's meeting. So the MPBR will be updated in whole, and then we're just waiting on the approval of the contract for a notice of proceed
From
for
USDA.
from the pedestrian bridge
Okay.
for the pedestrian bridge.
Great.
So,
That's showing the project's
yeah,
whole.
so no, I understand the bridge,
Yeah.
so the wall.
The wall,
The FEMA.
that is all one project.
So whenever we refer to that, that's one project.
Yeah. Yeah, and that contract is for the bridge and the wall, and it's gonna be billed to us, invoiced to us separately.
Right.
So we can track expenses, FEMA expenses, and bridge expenses.
But it's going as one project.
Going as one project.
Essentially,
Yeah.
other than the accounting.
Other than the accounting. And we can seek like not quarterly, but as the project goes.
Yes,
we can
reimbursements.
Put in
Yeah.
reimbursements, yeah.
Timeline? I mean,
Timeline for that?
timeline?
We have to, once we get a notice of proceed, we have 60 days to sign a
So,
contract.
but we expect, what's the expected start date? I'd like April 15th?
Don't we
No.
have to
Can't
have
get
a
it.
permit for the
I mean,
river?
we can't get in the river until
July 1.
July 1.
So there could be prep before that.
Yeah, mobilization.
It's
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty to do.
Take trees
before you do
out. and all
Yeah,
kinds
they
of
can
stuff.
drive the pilings in.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. There's a lot of work to be done prior to getting
Yeah.
in the river.
Well, just,
So
I
just the
know how these
idea.
projects go, and the
Yeah.
whole,
Gotta get it
I don't
going.
think the town of Hardwick
It's going
As
to
a
be an
whole,
absolute.
has any idea what
Nope.
this summer is going to be
It's
like.
gonna be, it's gonna be,
And I don't, as a select board
challenge.
member, I'm doing really
On
bad
Main
about
Street.
that.
You think people just don't understand the impact of that?
That project's gonna happen
It's
this
gonna,
summer.
do you remember if?
So do you watch the Channel 3 News and see the people down in Burlington and Winooski?
Yeah, I
Nope.
do. And I
Like,
think of it-
there's no parking from the red light to Mill Street. None, zero. There's one sidewalk that's gonna be noisy and loud and dusty, and traffic's gonna be zooming through,
Yes.
and it's a big impact. I think it's gonna be a big surprise when the majority of the town to have no idea it's coming, because they don't pay attention. Not that it's our fault.
West Church Street is gonna have a
Oh
huge
my gosh.
boom in traffic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a mess,
Mhm.
absolute mess.
But we're gonna have a new bridge when we're done.
And we're gonna have.
Oh, I'm not
all
against
over Main
that
Street.
part. I'm just
I know,
saying, I wish there was,
you know,
I think we need
Sitting
to.
right in the middle of
Well,
Main Street.
that's why I
with
asked
a
the start
business
date,
that's
'cause
gonna have
If it's
problems.
gonna be April 15th or May 1st, that's something that only gives you a few weeks to prepare for.
We just have to warn people and reassure them.
Right.
So this is, I'm gonna touch
Little
upon
flashing
this
signs.
at the end of my, I'm gonna touch
All right.
upon this
Carry on.
towards the end of my
Speed
report.
bumps should be back on West Church Street.
Keep us moving, Eric.
So stormwater projects, work is underway to identify and develop additional stormwater projects. Caspian Ave and Putnam Ave are high priority areas that are not covered under FEMA funding. Grant sources such as state grants and aid are being explored to support these efforts. So there's a couple of stormwater projects we need to be aware of and develop those projects. Stormwater is a big, I want to pay attention to the stormwater and to hardening our assets around the stormwater, because that causes runoff, that causes erosion. You look at our stormwater system down in the Judavine Mansion, the whole wall has come off from one of the overflows. That's a FEMA project. It's just, water is going to continue to be running everywhere for a while.
Water runs downhill.
That's right.
It's wicked.
Yep.
It don't stop.
We started a collaborative beautification project at the Memorial Park in partnership with the Sons of the American Legion. We grubbed up to the property line of the park here near the rail trail, and we're going to, the American Legion's gonna come in, the Sons of the American Legion is gonna come in and plant that and maybe put a bench in there and make that a little nicer by the park so you can see it from the rail trail. The Municipal Energy Resilience Program, MERP, we've talked about that. Requests for bids for insulation work will be published on the state bid registry site soon and subsequently advertised. That should start next week.
Which buildings again?
So this is the public safety building,
Yeah.
the PD, this building,
Yeah.
and the depot,
Mhm.
and the townhouse,
Mhm.
and not the library. We removed the library from the grant agreement. Likely, we will spend most of the money at the public safety building on that oil furnace that we pump oil to in the attic, and which is we're going to be shutting off in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, and then insulation here and lighting over there.
Mhm.
So
Great.
efficiency projects. And then continued coordination with FEMA on the 2024 disaster project verification process. That's the kind of the ongoing project development list. There's more, but this is a summary. Community engagement and communication. So TextMyGov, have you guys hopefully enrolled and received text? So ongoing improvements to the system are ensuring better communication with Hardwick residents. The town has received positive recognition from our TextMyGov representative for strong community engagement and opt-in. So he says our numbers are good for the amount of time we've been live. We've started to use it for, dog licenses, weather alerts. I think this is going to be a good opportunity to use it for letting people know about construction projects such as the pedestrian bridge. So we do have a tool to get messaging out to the public.
How do you go about opting into that again?
Well, there's a website, there's a page on the website, there's QR codes, there's flyers that are hung around town, there's flyers in the building.
Some questions you don't ask on the camera, but
Well,
No, it's for people.
Oh, you weren't asking for yourself.
that's a rhetorical question.
I know these, I
I'm
knew
just
these
making-
things.
I
I
appreciate,
know that.
I appreciate when you ask questions like that.
I know
because-
the answer to it. It's
Yeah.
watching.
Thank you.
Wiz used to do
I'm
that.
just busting your butt.
It's fine,
Come on.
you can, I can
It's
take
good
it.
to
Yeah.
That's what you get for not buying me lunch.
Now that you know, now you know how
Did
to
it work?
opt in, Danny.
Exactly.
I'm opted. I'm in.
All right.
I think. Yes, I am.
So
actually.
a little staff note, we will be closed on April 10th, the town manager's office, to allow staff to attend a townwide capital plan training, townwide capital plan training. So the 5 of us are going to a capital plan training exercise. This session will provide essential guidance for a year-long capital plan development project. So you're gonna hear more about it, but this is like the first step for the staff to kind of understand what a capital plan is and how to start the process to
Who's
do it.
putting that on?
The bond bank.
Oh,
What staff?
where do you have to go for it?
The 3 of us in my office, Tracy and Kristen.
Good.
Yeah?
Opie, you mentioned at the last meeting, finding out fairly soon about the FEMA options for the water and sewer. Has that come out yet?
So they gave us a deadline in July
Okay.
for the offer.
But have they gotten the offer? Have we gotten the offer yet?
They're costing it.
Okay. So they're still costing
Mhm.
it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
There'll be stuff in the capital plan project that we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to do some dream conversations and what we want, how to prioritize projects and funding conversations. So that'll be fun. We don't have a capital plan. And not a lot of towns do, but some towns do.
I mean, we have individual capital plans for things like,
Budgetary stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but this is like a 10-year
yeah,
comprehensive capital plan, and
Oh.
it's gonna help us with project development.
nice.
And that's where we're lacking right now.
Yeah, great,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Next, road foreman report.
I can give that too. Besides plowing, they've graded Bridgman Hill and hauled gravel, some stay mat back from Danville, and then managed to get West Hill, Bunker Hill, Lamoille Ave, and Caspian Ave, and part of Hopkins Hill graded. All in all, I think the roads are in good shape. I've been into some other towns, and besides the washboard and some heaves, we don't have a lot of ruts. If you know of any ruts and want to let me know, I'll gladly go check them out.
All right, great. Thank you. Next, Hardwick Police Department report, Mike Henry.
Yep, so Dan Brunel, who's been with us for a little over a year, we just promoted him to a sergeant. He's gonna be pretty much the second in command now. He's gonna hopefully help me out taking some of the major cases that come in, because that's an area where we're having trouble, it's just meeting those needs sometimes. So he's gonna be, covering the road. The other thing is, he's in charge of all the field training for the new officers. We just got Joe Donna completed the level 1 into level 2 training. So now he's got 100 hours more of training that he's got to do. He's just going out for a couple days here, there, another week, something to that effect. I think he's got 2 more full weeks he's got to attend down there, and then he's got 200 hours of field training just to be a level 2 officer. So we'll be working on that for a little while. But that's on the item here. That's about it. I'll save it for the other items.
All right.
I just wanted to say, like, I mentioned this to one of the officers that I saw. They've been all over. I don't know who it is. I apologize for not knowing, but all over East Hardwick, up by Macville. I saw somebody over on Houghton Hill. Like, it's just nice to see officers have a presence, like, especially in mud season, like way out in the community. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Well, that's where all the criminals are.
Oh, East
On
Hardwick.
my road.
No, it's quite a few on my road.
I'm very
Careful with that one.
I'm kidding.
All right.
God. you guys, so stiff.
They're
Thank you,
sensitive.
Mike.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions for Mike? Thanks. Next up, item 1, Hardwick Rescue to request additional annual appropriations, more than originally requested. And I assume Michael Luke Smith is here to brief us on that.
Yes, there was a minor clerical error when we calculated the appropriations for all the towns, unfortunately. And, I think that Lindsay had sent out the letter basically saying, since this was the figure that went forward, if that's what you want to pay, then that's what, you can pay. But there was a mistake that was made. And the percentages calculated out correctly just would result in a $5,600 increase in Hardwick's portion of it. It's a little unfortunate it happened because we're basically, the way we're calculating it out for all the towns, we're able to basically level fund it and not ask for an increase, the way we calculate it out, because of the way they changed. We were able to bill for calls we weren't able to bill for, and so that is hopefully going to increase our revenue some. In any case, what's what's germane right now is if you're willing to pay the extra $5,600, that's the request. If you're not, then that's okay too.
I didn't get that email. I just got this email. You don't have to pay it if you don't want to email.
I didn't see that one either.
Oh, okay. Lindsay had said she'd sent out a letter to
Yeah, it says if
she
you
did.
need more
She
time
did.
to pay it, you can have more time. It doesn't
but there
say-
will be interest.
How does that just logistically work if this is voted on as an appropriation at town meeting?
It wasn't an appropriation, we built it
No.
into our.
We built it
Yeah,
into a
it's a
budget.
line
Okay.
item
It's
in the
not-
budget.
Okay.
yeah,
So
it's not
what
actually
would
Okay.
happen is, we're basically would overspend that line item
Oh, I
if we
see.
agree to do this.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that, it would wash out at the end of the year. We might go over our budget, we might be under, this would be over, other lines might be under.
And I didn't feel comfortable authorizing the extra amount without a discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, what do people feel?
I think if they need it, they should have it.
Do you,
It's
good,
rescue. What,
Yeah.
who's gonna say no to that?
does everybody understands how it's calculated, like the bill? Okay.
Mhm. I can motion to approve the, would it be an adjustment then?
Adjustment to the,
Budget adjustment.
Yeah, how about just make a motion to approve,
Okay.
please totaling that.
Okay, I motion to approve the, an increase to the town of Hardwick's FY 2025 appropriation to the Hardwick Rescue Squad to the amount, from the amount of $90,220 to the amount of $95,820.
second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Please say aye.
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 Yeah, back down.
I may have voted.
Any, I think that was everyone. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for coming. Where are we? Item 2, select board to consider appointing Joseph Donna as part-time officer. Mike just gave
Hey,
us an
Michael.
update there.
Hold on. Michael, I just have one question. I just have the town report here, and the proposed for 25-26 is 96,472.
But this was.
I know. Are those, can you
Are
make
those still
sure
right?
that that's the number that you get when you send us, like,
For next year.
for next year? So just make sure that's, because we can,
change.
we'll have to go through this process, so the sooner the better. So just confirm that that number is
Okay.
what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
Good idea.
yeah.
All right, so select board to consider appointing Joseph Donna. Mike has just given us the update on that. And this body appoints officers, so can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you for continuing to recruit and retain. So, all in favor of appointing Joseph Tona the part-time officer for the police department, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I just love that we're getting locals
Motion
to
carries.
sign up for the job.
That's
great.
great.
We need one more.
And, this, I mean, this is what
One
policing
more.
is community partnership, so,
We'd like to have one more local officer.
yeah.
We'll train.
There you go.
Danny?
Danny?
Yeah, I'm
Next,
pretty busy.
moving, item 3, select board to consider approving several liquor and tobacco licenses. We have the list, and none of them have any issues according to the email.
I can motion to approve a second-class liquor license for Tops Market LLC, GSB LLC, DBA D&L Beverage and Deli, a tobacco license for Tops Market LLC, GSB LLC, DBA D&L Beverage and Deli, DG Retail LLC, DBA Dollar General, and a tobacco substitute endorsement for GSB LLC, DBA D&L Beverage and Deli.
Second.
Well done. Any discussion? We're all good with all these, right, Alberta? Yes. All right, all in favor of approving the licenses as Kaylee just read, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, select board to discuss purchase of a new police cruiser. I had some questions that I emailed to these guys. Can you start with where we are with the quotes?
Yeah, so the Lamoille Valley Ford quote is the 47,705 with the $1,500.95 delivery fee. So these two.
That's in it, right?
Nope, that's added, these two numbers on the bottom.
So then is it the MSRP for 49,300 is the total, Opie,
Hold on,
or no?
I'll do it right now.
Bye, Alberta.
Well, I think
47,705 plus
47,
15,905
40.
is, huh? Oh, that's that page. Oh, I was looking at the wrong page.
Yeah, just
Okay,
right here.
yep, 47,840.
Yeah, 47,840.
Yep,
That's the Lamoille Valley Ford.
yep,
Okay.
So you're gonna have to answer this one.
yep.
Next is McGee.
So McGee is the fleet price, the $45,089 plus the $1,595 destination charge. And that is the 46,684 is the price of that one.
46,684, and so no dock fees or anything like that?
There's $90, because there's no tax, there's
Plus
just,
$90
Yeah, but
dock
we
fee?
don't, you can't start splitting dock fees and.
yeah, that's just title and
things, because They
registration.
just call it shit, different shit.
I just wanna know what the
Yeah,
total
yeah.
is.
Our title and
Right, that's what I'm
registration fee
saying.
is.
Oh, you're asking additional.
Is
I'm asking if that goes on additionally.
$90 for, that's a fee that we pay when we go register it.
No, I mean the dock fee. Like, so for
Yeah.
example, on the Lamoille Valley, when they have a dock fee of $499, a lot of times, like if you or I go buy a car, they wanna charge you a dock fee.
Yeah.
Is that doc is short for documents?
Documentation, yes, it costs hundreds of dollars to fill
Short for
out
doing your
those.
job.
Yes,
Fill out the
They've,
form.
they've included that.
okay, great. So the total, grand total on McGee,
Yeah,
Is 46,684.
yeah,
46,684.
yeah.
And what do we have in capital for this?
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
No, just a question, just a
Yeah. You're gonna,
We still have one more quote to go.
right, sorry.
this is just the car.
Right. Then we have to have upfit. Yeah.
Right.
Let's keep going this way. Should know this off the top of my head, but I don't.
I don't think it was enough.
So what we have in here for 2026 is 50,000
Total.
for the cruiser
So we'll be over that probably by the time we're
with
done.
the fit up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
probably not way over.
The price of the price.
Really?
Yes. Well,
How much is fit up roughly?
depending on what I get, I'm still waiting on a radio,
Yeah.
because the radios that we had before, I tried using those again, and they're not digitally,
Mhm.
capable, and that's what we need right now.
Yeah.
So, I'm guessing that's gonna come in probably around $7,000 just for the radio to go in there. We've got a cage, We've got, light bar and,
Yeah, some stuff.
I can't think of the
Yeah.
stuff. So in-car camera, bonus there, I got a free one for the town,
Right.
not free for me. And what am I missing here? The main thing is the radio, that's gonna
Okay.
be huge.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like 10, 12 grand,
15.
15.
15.
Okay, so just back to our quotes, so we have Lamoille Valley Ford at 47,840. We have McGee Ford at 46,684, and we have McGovern, it looks like 45,486. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And we typically buy from the Loyal Valley Ford. It seems like in the past we've done that.
No.
No,
No,
Last
it's
two
all
cars-
over, it's all over the
Yeah.
place.
Not
Last two
typically.
cars
Okay.
They don't
I
come
bought
in.
from McGovern just because of the price,
And that went, how did that was a,
seamless.
yeah.
And when they say deliver to ITS, what's ITS?
I'm not sure,
Okay,
but, I
All right.
should have called them.
but in
I
any
thought that
case,
was, I thought that was their delivery fee to them.
oh,
But
good.
it may be a
Yeah.
delivery fee to us.
That
Because
would
you
be
probably have
beautiful.
to go all the way down there and get it.
Yeah, that's what we've had to do in the past,
Yeah.
just go down and get it.
Go down and
Send
get
two guys
Where,
down.
where is it?
Mass.
Yeah.
And Lamoille Valley Ford wouldn't match that.
I tried.
They can't.
I
Okay.
tried.
So this
I
price.
tried. I don't know if that,
Yep.
I can't, they can't. I don't know if that, they just won't.
They don't match.
They didn't.
So this one, this
They
is.
had the
all-
opportunity.
Right, they had the.
I asked them. Provided them with our lowest price.
So this place
That's more
down
than
there, all they
fair.
do is fleet vehicles.
Really, he did
That's it.
ethics training.
So they get a better, probably a better price on them. You know, everything's right
I
there.
didn't do that because I took the
Sure.
ethics training.
So I go down and pick one right
It's
off. the
fine,
shelf.
right there.
Yeah.
This,
Okay,
You
so.
think they wanna keep the business in-house anyway?
So it looks to me like, these are, it looks to me like these are all exactly the same rig.
yeah.
And McGovern is, clearly lower price, and we're gonna be going over our budget anyway by the time it's fitted out, so we really need to, my feeling is,
Motion to go with McGovern.
thank you.
Second.
Any more discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? I just did have one question. It looked like on their website, they also do the fit up, if you want.
Yeah, we do the fit up here locally.
Okay,
Got a guy
Yay.
Right in Waterville,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Fair enough.
You might have to put tariffs on Massachusetts cruisers.
And if they can deliver it to us for $200,
Oh, absolutely.
there's no way we can go get it for $200.
Right. Well, there is.
Yeah.
I'll do it for 200.
Take
Yeah.
it.
Really?
There we go.
I was just kidding.
All right.
I'm kidding.
Problem solved. All right,
I'm
next.
not lying.
Next, Toby, thanks for chasing the pricing on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said they'd get right back to me, but he said that when I explained my question, he said, yes, that sounds right, but I gotta double check and email you.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna go with, I'm right,
yes,
so,
because he thought you were right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Casey and I discussed it, so.
Yep, great. Next, select board discussed water meter project, and I think this was out of our meeting last time.
Yeah, let's
where
discuss it.
We wanna figure out how we're gonna, do
Yep.
we have money in our,
We do.
water budget to hire somebody to get these things in?
So water capital, there's money set aside for the water meters. And this is a good example of project development, project management. Typically, when we did the water meter project, and you know, I'll take the blame for not getting this out the last year, the last 2 summers, you know, with everything that's been going on. But typically, the water meter project and any wastewater or water project, we have a on-site engineer. Ulrich and Elliott usually provides someone on-site to manage the project. I don't know enough about installing water meters, so if we hire an excavator, we hire a plumber individually, or we do one contract and we do this, like, where's the project oversight? How do we know that these water meters, these meter pits are getting installed correctly? And and everything's getting connected. I don't know if we need plumbing inspections for these, not sure. So I have a lot of questions about the water meter project. I can reach out to Ulrich and Elliott and see kind of how much it would cost for them to kind of oversee the project.
Yeah.
And-
Or they might recommend that we could go out to bid, and there are contractors out there who just know how to do it and.
Right,
manage
so those are the only questions I have.
Yep.
I'm not making excuses.
Yeah.
We haven't done this. I don't know
How
why
many,
they,
how many water meters do we have in the working right now?
I have no idea.
How many,
The ones that are unmetered are just close to like.
How many,
it's
how
close
many
to
people
80.
we got on water meters right now?
on water?
I think there's
Yes.
80.
No,
No.
on water meters.
Oh, on water meters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
300 and, I think 321 customers,
And
connections,
we don't have,
minus 80.
and we don't know how to put them in yet?
no, we.
They
know-
were put
We didn't
in,
put
they
them
were
in.
installed under that contract, or under, I don't know what
So
the
some wa-
status
some-
with the water meter pits.
Some water pits were put in, I think.
I don't know
Yeah, I
why
know.
they weren't.
Somewhere,
Some were, right?
somewhere, yeah.
I thought so.
We've done plenty of them.
And
It's a matter of
Can-
people don't wanna do it, they don't.
I'm trying to remember, did
I thought
the
Tom did
road
it.
crew do some?
Yes,
Is it one of our
They
meter?
did some, but didn't
The water.
we hire Ivan or somebody to do some?
well,
I don't think there's a lot to it.
no,
I don't either.
there's not.
When I first joined the board, we were trying to do like.
10 a year.
Yeah, something like.
We
that.
have a dozen right now, sitting in the garage.
So we need to get
To
more,
be installed.
I think we need to get those in the ground.
Yes,
and we,
definitely.
and we need to get some on order in case they don't come quickly. And, we need to get a plan together for putting together a project, figuring out which ones, how to approach it. Yeah,
Okay.
so put it on your list.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly a bare minimum this year would be installing the 12 that we have.
I think we gotta have a plan to do them all.
That would be ideal, but
So,
We may not
I
get
totally
them.
understand what Opie's trying to say, but the solution isn't a project manager, the solution is a public works director. That's the solution.
Well,
Because
that's
you're gonna have to have
what they're
someone.
gonna do, yeah.
Well,
Good thing we have.
we'll have that discussion in item number 7.
So you
So,
ready to move on?
well, we don't have a plan for this, obviously.
No, we don't. That's why we're talking about it. We
Right.
need a plan.
I think the first step is to have in the board folder a piece of paper that says, these are the number of unmetered
Mm-hmm.
properties, these are the number of kits that we have.
So right now, we
This
have
is how many.
someone that's in charge of our water and department and our highway department.
Yep.
And they should not only have the ability to do it, but they could do it. They know how to do it, they've done it. We have a highway and water department. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do we not?
We do.
Then
We do. So they could be assigned to do something.
somebody should be, yeah, I don't know, I don't understand it. I don't understand why that seat's empty every day. I don't understand why that seat's empty every meeting. I don't understand why he doesn't have the answer to these questions.
So he
It
probably does,
shouldn't,
because he's
Opie
done
needs to
it.
fill that, Opie's job is that seat. That seat right there is the job we're talking about now, and it's never full, it's empty. And it's not doing its job. And hiring him a project manager is not gonna solve that problem.
Well, we do need Tom to help us with what we've done historically.
We
Because
need-
they have been putting them in the past,
Mhm.
so it's a part of what we have to do next.
Right. Right. And, yeah, and we probably, Tom's assistants could make a plan for how to get them in. I don't think we're gonna make a plan tonight amongst us. I think we hear the salient facts are there's, would you say 300 and something connections? And 380?
If Tommy can't figure out how to do this and have something to us by the next meeting off his desk, then we should replace him. Because that's his job.
So,
I'm done dicking around.
okay. Okay. I think we can we certainly do need to see a plan for getting those in. I don't think it all weighs on Tommy, but
Eric,
I don't,
all right.
I'm just saying. I hear you though.
No, everything's going smooth.
Did I say that?
Whatever.
Okay.
Who put the other?
I mean, I don't understand how much longer we're gonna continue to ignore the situation we have with that.
So,
That's not what we're talking about at the moment, though, even though we do need to talk about it. So if part of the next steps are to ask Tom and Opie to come up with what's been done so far, what we have in terms of materials, what the goal is for this year, if it's all 80, how much that's gonna cost.
and what we have
And-
funding put
and what-
aside
yeah.
for it. And if, I mean, another possibility, I'm just thinking, like, we normally just have a flat rate that we use to,
Unmetered.
no, sorry, I'm thinking about our water and sewer
Mm-hmm.
pays back to, we pay out of that water and sewer fund,
Mm-hmm.
we pay back to the town
Mhm.
for the staff time. So, you know, if it's decided that this is above and beyond that staff time, like the normal staff time is essentially Kenny maybe, I don't really know.
It's all of us.
Right, so
Yeah.
it is, and it's Casey's time, it's your
Yeah.
time, it's everybody in the road crew. So if adding this adds substantially to that workload, then it's possible that, I think, that we can say, all right, so for this year,
So
we're
the
taking money
work,
out of
the
the
work could
water.
be contracted. I'm not
Yes,
saying they
it
have to
could be
do the work.
contracted, but I'm
The
saying-
plan needs to become from the public works.
I would suggest it be contracted.
Okay,
Because you need a licensed plumber.
Right, I
Okay.
agree.
And what I'm saying
mhm.
is, this is out of my wheelhouse.
So you're gonna check with Aldrich and Elliott,
Yes,
okay? And we could contract it, they could maybe help us put together
the documents
to go out to bid for
to
it.
go out to bid for.
Cause we want somebody with a digger and a plumber,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
And not to get ahead of ourselves, but like, wouldn't all of that be part of the job description of the public works director? They would
Putting
be
that
the one-
together,
If
Exactly.
they were a public works director.
Absolutely.
if they were hired.
I'm
So
saying
we're
that-
jumping ahead again because
Right, I mean, that's, but
we
I'm,
don't have a public works
I-
I
director.
recognize that, but like, it's like they're the person who would know all of those things.
Absolutely.
ideally, Who would go out to, who would
Bring it out.
put together a
They
plan.
they
put it out
don't
to
necessarily wouldn't need to know everything because no one knows everything. They would know how to get the answer though.
It's
But they-
project
they-
development
They would
Yeah.
is
coordinate.
what we're lacking.
Right.
And I will discuss that in item five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
so are we good to move on then?
I just found.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
This is the one-
I got a direction to go on the water meters.
Yeah.
Thanks, Opie.
Next, select board to discuss the new ethics training, so that's I think 2018, the state passed, an ethics standard document.
2020, just recently.
The
Oh, back in the day,
document
yes.
was, I
back
think,
in the-
2018.
Yeah.
And this year, in 2025, they've said that, people in public office, including select board members, need to, take a training, and they have to retake it every 3 years, I think. Danny asked last time that we all take it before this meeting, so we can discuss it, I think, is that correct?
Yep,
Okay. That's my lead in.
okay.
Danny,
What do y'all think?
I thought it's good that the state's providing a framework for people to take training on stuff that's been assumed to have been happening all along.
Well, it is happening, it happens every day. So, in my understanding is that the Ethics Commission is in place in Montpelier to receive complaints about ethics, our conflicts of interest. They determine whether the conflict of interest is worthy of an investigation, and if the investigation is warranted, on their decision, it's kicked back to the body that's
The
involved.
town, yeah.
And they, or, yes, it's town, city, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
yeah, in whatever test, state. And then that body they do the investigations. So the Ethics Commission isn't doing anything other than just saying, nah, that looks good, here we go.
And the other thing they do is they feel if we, for example, have questions, we can call them, there's a number
Right.
in there.
Right. So,
Yeah, so that's how, the understanding of how it all works, everyone agrees with me, that's how it works.
Mhm.
At what level are we going to hold ourselves to this standard of conflict of interest?
So the standard is not new.
No, it's not
Only the
new.
training.
It's not new, but having,
You're talking about the
so
consequences.
the real big thing for me in there is if, I don't need to necessarily feel that I have a conflict of interest, but if someone else, if there's a perception, the wording was if there's a perception of conflict of interest, then I have a conflict of interest. So for me, looking at things, and I don't want to get into pointing fingers or anything else, but I see all of us violating conflict of interest thing, some of us more than others.
Or at least the perception of it.
Or without a doubt, the perception of it, but Opie, you going to the Ford garage and saying, you know, this is our little bid, that's not, that shouldn't be occurring.
If they can price match?
Yeah.
I don't-
Your opinion is it's fine, my opinion is that's the same thing as me going to Mark Chauvin and saying, hey, I wanna drive, I got a dump truck,
Yeah.
I wanna work for you. Or,
I mean-
and Sherry votes for something, just example, that's gonna improve something in front of her business to make more flow to her business, or,
Yeah.
you know, everything Sherry does is to drive business to downtown, well, she owns a business downtown.
Yeah.
So directly, she's getting funding from every decision we make that makes downtown better. If you go right to the hard letter.
Yeah.
So my deal is, I think that we're capable as a board of handling this. But my concern generally is that if the makeup of the board or anything, you know, we got a pretty good working board, to be honest with you, compared to some. I mean, I think Barnett's been through 17 different select board members in the last 3 years, 17. And currently, right now, they have 3 vacancies, and town meeting was only a month ago. So we have a pretty good record around here, but
I guess what are the consequences?
my concern is I wheel, deal, dicker, everything I do is about to hustle, because that's how I survive.
Right.
But
So,
but
I know that Opie has a perception of me having a conflict of interest, because for the last 2 months, every word that came out of my mouth, Opie said, boy, you need to take that training.
That's
So
not
I know.
why. That's
It
not
is
why.
it is why, because otherwise you wouldn't be saying it all the time, repeated every time I see you. Have you took that yet? Because every time I see him, I'm trying to hustle something, because I got to, because I need to survive.
One of the things I took out of that training, I wasn't able to do the test because my internet died, but I did watch the video. One of the things that I took out of it is actually similar to one of the things that we've worked on in the equity committee, which has a lot of similarities to the ethics training, which is if we're going to ask one vendor or one person the same question and the same thing, then we should be asking everybody that. So for me, that's like, okay, whether it's like an RFP is almost easy because you get 3 different bids, and those are in our board folder, and that's we're making that decision based on money or whatever. But when we get all these random other requests and questions, we're making those decisions based on opinion or connection or whatever, we're not necessarily asking them the same as we are asking for other people.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no doubt.
And so that's one of the things I was thinking about during that training was, could we have just like a cheat sheet of those questions to make sure that we're asking as different decisions come up? Like, and they could just, I'm sure there's a printout that we could find for that. There's also, I thought it was interesting to have the,
I don't think I'm following you. But-
well, like if we had a question about, if we had a page of questions that we could just ask, like, does anybody feel like there's a conflict of interest for
to
that?
dismiss the,
Yeah, is
like
there,
a checklist.
does anybody have something,
All right,
does
so
anybody
when we're
feel
dealing
like-
with someone bringing up a conflict,
Yeah.
more or less, right?
Because right now, all we have is voting yes, no, or abstaining. And that's like our way of saying, like if you abstain, to me, that's like, oh, I have a conflict of interest, I'm gonna abstain.
Yeah. so
But beyond
I
that, like
understand that.
are there some questions we could come up with that make it really clear
Right,
to the public? Like,
public, that we're not, to get us off, you're talking about the process, so.
yeah,
My biggest concern is, so, in my mind, it's absolutely, there's no doubt there's conflict of interest. If I vote yes for CCS to do a $4 million project on Main Street, and then I drive down there the next day and give them my card and say, hey, I got a dump truck and I need work. And they hire me and I make money off that project. That is a direct conflict
So-
of interest right there. There's, under this under this training.
It
There's
might
no
be.
doubt.
So,
How could it not be?
Well, if you would go, if no matter who we hired for that project, you would do the same thing?
Well, I would,
It's
but,
not.
this is,
but it is when you're a selectman, you walk in there and say, hey, I'm Danny Hale, I'm a selectman in the town of Hardwick, wink, wink, nod, nod.
I think that would be only if it was like, you know.
I was winking and
you do-
nodding,
you-
because
you-
you
you-
know, 'cause I need
And
to
you
work.
vote on some frivolous project that we don't actually need, and then you go, well, I got, the-" you know, that's
Well,
where
I
I
would do that.
okay,
Would
so
you?
I've got a,
Yeah, I
Well,
would.
then-
If you guys all vote, you guys vote to do frivolous stuff all the time, and I'd take part of that any day you want me to.
so the way I look at this is we're looking at this, or I don't want to look at this as, this is a prime example of guilty before proving yourself innocent, okay? This is locking us up into not being able to make decisions or live our lives. Now, what we need to do is continue to do business the way we've been doing business, following our code of ethics policy that's been in place that covers everything in this training, and continue to do what we're doing and recuse ourselves when we need to recuse ourselves, and follow the procedures that we've been following. And I would recommend making the Board of Civil Authority the body that would hear a case of a code of ethics violation
Yep.
and let them investigate it, and let them, and if a complaint gets filed, follow it through, let the course of action take place. But we can sit here, and I agree with you, you know, there's things that people can say, oh, well, you know, that's gonna give you a leg up, but is it really?
No.
And has it really?
My argument is no. Anything-
There's a
anytime I've
lot of,
worked in town,
there's a
Hardwick-
lot of
And-
perceptions that are untrue.
And my point is that the only reason we're doing that project is because Danny Hale voted on it and needs work?
No.
No, exactly.
So I am good, I just thought we needed to have this conversation and. you
I think
know,
it's great that we're
certainly
having this
following that,
conversation.
There will be times when I will recuse myself just because I mean, I know I have conflicts of interest because that's I hustle, that's the
We-
way everybody
in-
does, I mean, that's what
In
you
the
gotta do in the
training,
world.
it said you have conflicts of interest every day.
Yeah. I
We
agree.
all do.
And there are a whole
It's
bunch
how
of
you
reasons-
handle them.
And there are a whole bunch of reasons why
So
you
the
still might
Board of Civil
participate.
Authority thing we need to set up, that's good, and what she said is good too, to give them some guidance
Yeah.
from us on what we would like to see, if there is an investigation, basically. I think that'd be a good, we don't need to decide all that today.
Well,
No, but
We
I-
are part of the Board of Civil Authority too.
Right, but I mean,
Yeah.
But
we don't
add
wanna, we
people
don't wanna
to
pigeonhole
the
it just to be,
investigation.
No.
And then
the
it's
select
like,
board
and you
doesn't need
recuse
any
yourself
more
if you-
oversight.
If I was under investigation, I wouldn't go.
By
and vote
itself,
on
no.
that.
Because it could be, so the town employees have to take this training.
Yeah,
I mean,
The
take
JPs
it could be
do,
the
don't they?
PD, it could be the library, it could be anybody involved in state government, correct? That's where.
it's really,
Well, not the library, they don't follow any
Anybody
no.
involved in public service,
Everybody else.
elected
it's
officials.
people who deal with the influence of decision making.
Yeah.
So,
Whoever.
But
But my
do
point
the
being is,
JPs
we don't
already
wanna.
have to do it, the training? So that's the next follow-up, is that we need,
Yeah.
if we're gonna have the Board of Civil Authority do it, they all have to take the training.
Well, as I think.
well, no, that they're specifically outlined who needs to take the training, and then you guys need to authorize somebody to be like the organizer of making sure we're all up to compliance. And,
Right.
And I forgot the name of it.
I say the town
Yeah.
manager should do that.
Yeah.
I figured.
Which is why I
Thought
said to add
It
you
was a
to
given,
the.
right. I thought you volunteered. Now,
No,
come
it's
on.
fine, I'll do it, but it's just to keep things going
Right.
and making sure we're, but this is the stuff that has created such confusion and such, I'm not gonna use that word, but,
It's
in
stupid
in
shit
our
coming out of
process.
Montpelier.
We've created a process
is.
that is so hard to navigate that no one knows how to navigate it, so therefore nothing ever
How many
happens.
state dollars do you think we're wasting on that?
I'm not saying you,
No.
I'm just saying government in
The
general.
royal we.
The royal way.
Well, I think for me, I thought it was good, I mean, a good reminder of
Yeah,
how to think about
Yeah,
conflict
as long
of
as, I'm
interest.
good as long as we had the discussion. that's
And there
all
are
I-
lots of times when they point out that even though it might seem like you have a conflict, you might not. So like, if
Right.
you
Well,
don't benefit
it
any
told me,
more than
it made me
anybody else.
aware of
if
times
you-
where it'd be a lot easier just to abstain and
Mhm.
not have to worry about it.
If
That
there's-
too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 5 of us, if there's a question of it,
Right.
if, you know, if there's
So
a
that's,
doubt.
so everything that I do, you guys always know about. You know what I mean? We always discuss it. It's not like we've been doing sneaky stuff. It's just,
there are always people that could have the perception that one of us is getting a handle up on something.
Well, then they can come to the meeting and ask the questions.
They do, look at them.
Right, yeah, look how many there are.
Okay,
Look how many concerns.
They'll certainly come
All right,
now
Anyway,
after that
that was a good
discussion.
discussion.
all right, good.
Let's not live in fear.
Okay.
There was no
So
holler in
we-
that one, that was a good one.
So we're gonna move on?
Yep.
All right, so next, item 7, select board discuss job description for the new public works director. I thought it looked good.
I think it's absolutely not a public works director in any way, shape, or
Oh.
form job description.
Oh.
It's a project manager's job description, and you can easily see that. Just count how many times you see project in here,
Yeah.
and how many times you see director in here. And there's,
I mean, isn't this
I
just
looked through.
semantics at that
You
point?
see the watermark
I know
in the
that,
back?
I did, I'm not angry.
So you're gonna
I'm
make
just
some,
saying.
are you gonna
Okay,
make some?
So, no, I was gonna, I did some research and, you know, and I looked up a few, like Stowe and
Okay.
some of.
Yeah,
And this is a great part of the duties of a public works director, but it's lacking, you know, some stuff that I think it needs, and that is, there needs to be some sort of oversight over the public works department. So we don't have a department definition of what the public works department is. My suggestion early on was it should have, under the banner of public works, it should have highway, water, sewer, and recreation as 3 different categories, and that separates the water and sewer staff from reporting to the highway foreman. It gives the highway foreman, the working foreman, the opportunity to do his job, which is to implement what is decided on between the public works director, the town manager, and the select board, and deal with his staff. It gives the public, the sewer, the water and sewer department, a head person there to deal with, again, the same, you know what I'm saying? And then we need to get a grasp on some sort of recreation department. That's obviously not gonna be the priority, but it needs to be a part of the department. So I think the definition of the department needs to occur before, even though it may prolong this a little bit, I think that's more important to us. And, you know, whether anyone likes it or not, we need a better management in our public works department. And that, with that is gonna have to be some level of command. Otherwise it will not work. So we need to figure that structure out, and if people don't like it, then there'll have to be some changes made. But it's time for us to make some changes, period, in my opinion,
could you, also forward to everyone the other, like Stowe and the other ones you saw?
Right,
Yeah.
I can, I
you
didn't
forward those as
prepare
well?
all that, but I can do that this week.
That'd be great.
And we can work on that, but I think, would you agree, Opie, that defining the role of the department is more important? The job description is excellent, and I have nothing wrong with that, they're gonna need to do all of those things. What's lacking is the department part of it and the oversight part of it, and there's gotta be, this position is where there has to be some level, I don't wanna say authority is the right word, Opie's the boss. But, you know, you're going, the
Establishing
guy,
the hierarchy.
the guy doing the administration work, or the girl, or the person, the administrator of the department is gonna have to have buy-in from the people that are implementing it. And there's gonna have to be communication, and there's gonna have to be, and with that, no matter who the players are, you're gonna need, somebody's gonna have to be above somebody else.
Got it.
My only other, those are all the things I was thinking about too, Danny. The only other thing I was thinking about in the position summary, it might be worth describing the town a little bit more. Like, I mean, obviously hopefully somebody would do some research, but like, how
Yeah.
big is our water sewer? How, you know, we have East Hardwick as a village, we
that's-
have Hardwick as a village, like, just a couple sentences of, this is a little bit more about
I think
Hardwick.
that would be, that's a great part of the definition to
Yeah.
what our public works department is. It should have, you know, that stuff. I mean, this might take a couple of swings at it, Opie, I'm not just dumping it, but do you understand, do you
Yeah.
kind of agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that once we define that, this, for me, this is not about people, it's about a wholesale change in the way that Hardwick is doing business, to bring it into the
Changing
to
the
where-
system.
the system to where it needs to be, that's right. it's no different than going from a mayor, or you know, we're changing stuff. Right now, we have a working highway foreman that has become the public works supervisor, which has become the head of recreation and, you know, all these other duties that when, you know, the old guys, they didn't even come to, you know, they didn't have a computer, they just drove dump trucks.
All
So,
good points.
I will
So we'll carry on.
send you some stuff. I'll be on it.
Maybe we
I'll
could make some notes and send them to us and.
Yeah, I will.
copy, and then.
I'll
I
send
know
you some
he took
things I'm
notes
looking at.
on what your thoughts are, but I'd love
I'll
to,
come visit Opie.
even though I'm sure I could go to the Stowe website and find it, if you feed it to me, that'll be easier.
Yeah, but I kinda, yeah,
Whatever
I'm
other
pushing,
ones
now,
you
let
found.
me grab a few.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the departments are gonna be larger than ours, but
Sure.
we're thinking about growth here, this is a growth thing, this isn't,
yeah,
you know what I mean, we're gonna build it a little bit bigger than what it needs to be, or understand what it needs to be if it gets bigger, right?
yeah. Sounds good.
I'm on it,
And
Okay.
just a
Yeah,
very
just call first, cause. you
yeah,
know,
I'll make sure.
Call me Danny, we'll go in together.
Yeah,
just another
man,
really
just
quick.
let us know when he's in a really bad mood.
Kaylee,
Just a super quick small thing, you know, in the past, we've put a salary range, and I think that's generally a nice, people like to see that. So maybe something we can think about for the next
Well,
draft.
we have one, unfortunately, it's, you know, it is what it is,
Yeah,
right? So we have
yeah.
one, so,
So I think we should just add that.
I mean.
I just heard today that Stowe hired a second engineer.
Whoa.
Yeah,
We had Stowe money.
second engineer for a town.
yeah,
Isn't that beautiful?
it is.
So, is Charles still there?
They paid for it.
So he's, you know, the average, what was it, John Jewett told us, the average town manager is only like 6 years.
Yeah.
He's been there 35.
Yeah. Bill Fraser only made it 40s, 30, 35, 42 years maybe?
Yeah.
Whoa, where is that?
City of Montpelier.
Yeah, and then they kicked him to the curb though. Took
Wow.
his key away, kicked him to the curb.
All right, so I'm
I
gonna,
won't be
so
doing it that long.
it sounds like,
Oh, yeah, you
so
After
Never say
All right,
meeting
hang on,
Danny next
so-
week could be the last day.
Public Works Director, sounds like we have,
We're working
something,
on
we're
it.
gonna work on it, that's great. Do we want to talk about it again next time, or do we wanna talk
Yeah,
about it?
Yes,
oh,
we'll put it
next
on
time?
the
Next
agenda.
time.
We're gonna
Right,
put it
but
on
we
the
do need
agenda
to
from
get-
now until
We
we
need to get it
start,
out.
because then we're gonna need
Until
a
we post
hiring
it.
process. So,
Yeah.
I'd like a hiring committee, I'd like somebody
Yep.
from the select
Yeah,
board.
Yep.
sounds
Maybe,
good.
maybe somebody on the select board wants to be on the hiring committee, don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna
Guys.
move us on to item 8,
Suck it up.
which I have to admit, I'm a little confused about why we're talking about this again.
Me too.
Select board to consider
Oh,
a grant proposal for
this
the
is-
town transportation fund.
This is
So-
strictly,
This should have been in last
This
week's
is
packet.
extra paperwork.
this is strictly paperwork.
Oh,
This is the proposal, we
Haven't
need,
we
we need
already-
to follow the
haven't
rules.
we already,
You know what, I almost
Ourselves.
asked about that at the last
It's
meeting.
Ourselves following our own
hasn't
rules.
this
Yes.
already been submitted?
It has,
Yes,
yes,
but-
but
Yeah,
there
Thank
wasn't a
goodness.
It's not
motion
about-
or signatures, so we need signatures for the grant proposal.
Okay, so.
I motion
This is
to,
more technicality.
Yeah.
This
You
is
moved- you
our,
moved
this
to-
is
I
town
moved
stuff,
to do the
not.
town
This is
transportation
equity
fund
right
grant.
here.
approve the
I
grant
think we
proposal.
already voted on it, we just need to do the paperwork.
Okay.
I know.
You,
I motion to approve the grant proposal for the downtown transportation fund for the pedestrian bridge in the amount of $200,000.
Second,
okay, so.
Which was already submitted.
Which
and
was already
hopefully
I,
submitted.
I just have one comment on these that I hadn't thought of before, but in reading this and in my confusion, I did note, nowhere on here, on our form, does it have the name of the person filling it out, which would be helpful.
well, it's our grants, you know, it's Tracy.
You mean the name of the
community
person
development
sponsoring the grant, you're saying?
Well, it isn't necessary, like, all our grants are not necessarily coming from Tracy.
No.
Right,
Right.
well, actually, this grant was written
It, it does say sponsor somewhere.
by Heather.
Yeah, I agree with you, so there's a sub-recipient, and that's where it would go if it was like the Trails Committee probably.
Yeah, but.
Well,
it'd
that's
be-
the department head. That's kind of the sponsor.
Anyway.
But
We
I'd
can
love,
work on
I'd
it.
love to just have on here the
Okay.
name of the person filling it out, and
Got it.
it just would be helpful.
That's easy.
Yes. All right, so otherwise, the motion's on the table, all in favor of approving the grant proposal, please say aye.
Alright,
Did you get that?
Any opposed? Motion carries, so good, and hopefully we get that. Anybody, can someone remind me when we're supposed to hear on that?
end of
May.
this
Oh,
month.
yes.
Oh, end of April.
April.
Yeah, it's a quick.
Great.
End of April, but we
Awesome.
wanted to.
It would be really great to get that, because I'd really rather have that grant money than pull it out of our fund balance.
Right?
All right, select board reports, new business, old business?
Can I bring something up?
Yep, now's the time.
So I just looked over this.
This might be just a
Yeah,
gas engine, and they just have it.
we just need to verify this quote with McGee. So, because I just pulled up this,
Old
looks like,
business, no, already,
oh, well.
yeah,
Can I
we
bring
already
up
did it.
item number 4 again?
yeah,
Looks like that quote is for a hybrid.
yeah.
So I want to just make sure that,
But they took the battery out.
I thought there was a delete,
We went with McGovern.
I know you want with McGovern, but I just want to give local business the option. if
Well, that'll be more expensive
sorry, which one you thought
if
was
it's a
the?
hybrid.
That's the hybrid, so that's.
Right,
more
if they
expensive.
went with a regular one, they would take the same out they did at McGee.
So right here, look.
Yes, it could be McGovern.
Deletes regenerating lithium-ion battery pack.
Yeah, that's.
That's
taking out the
McGovern's,
hybrid.
right?
No.
McGee is taking it out,
Yeah.
deletes it. So
Yeah.
this is just a
It's still
direct,
part of it.
this is just a direct injection.
135 mile an
It
hour.
doesn't hurt to follow up with
Do
them.
that.
and
I
if
just
it's
want to
a better
follow up
quote,
with it,
let
make
us
sure
know.
we're talking apples to apples, that's all.
And if it comes.
So we're not gonna be able to,
Give me
Well,
one.
could you authorize town manager to make that decision?
oh my gosh.
I would,
So, sorry, what's the, you're thinking that maybe which bit, McGee?
That McGee is not accurate to,
McGee quoted a
Higher,
hybrid, a higher value.
I would make a motion to authorize the town manager to.
work that out.
Work that out.
Well, yeah, to go, exactly, to go with the cheapest,
go with the lower bid.
the cheapest and then most local option.
Cost effective.
Cost effective, there you go. And locally branded.
Without violating the conflict of interest rule number 613.
So, was that a motion?
Wow.
42.
I did
That
make a
was
motion.
Was there a second on that?
Yes, sure.
Danny Hill makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the town manager to actually make the final decision on the new police cruiser based on price, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Um,
I do think though that McGee did take out the hybrid.
Fine.
Still
If
there.
Mike wants to follow up on that and make sure.
Right.
That'll get
So
it
we're
done.
back, we're back to new business.
So I
old
have
business?
some
New business, old business.
Is there any select board reports?
We haven't done new business.
I don't know
We're
if
trying to
this
get
is a
there.
select board
We're getting-
report or a new business thing, but I resigned from the planning commission today.
Oh,
I just have, there are too many things on my plate, and I
Okay.
just can't do it anymore.
so there's a vacancy.
So there's a vacancy, but there's not a vacancy because they have
Alternate.
alternates.
But
But Kristen would really like to, she wanted me to announce this to the select board because she really feels that it's super effective to have a select board member serving on the planning commission. So y'all can just think about that.
Okay,
Great.
thank
I
you.
am not that guy.
Duly noted.
I despise
Yeah.
planning.
Kayla?
I had an old business.
it's helpful.
Is the
Ways.
next meeting our quarterly report with Casey?
Yes,
Okay, great. So, and we're gonna do a general fund report with that?
yes.
Okay,
She
great.
did put
So
a
is it, Jen?
fund report in our
Okay.
Google Drive.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
and
I just
on
didn't
the
see it.
computer.
Okay,
I
great.
think she.
I think we talked
Um,
about that last meeting.
No, she just stuck it in.
We're gonna do it. I was just checking that it was next
You
meeting.
mean the fund balance?
The
Yeah.
fund balance,
Yeah.
Oh, the fund balance.
That's
Yeah.
for
Once a
next,
year.
next meeting.
Yeah, and our audit is done now too.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
And then my
That took
only
9
other
months.
old business, just because we're, things are melting even though we keep getting snow. Maybe at our next meeting, we can talk about the flood work and the plan. Like, we had talked before about how we were waiting to get the geologist's report to make recommendations for changing culverts, and how that's gonna be a long process.
Okay.
Like, various culvert, like various projects. And so I'm just curious kind of where we are in that, like what are we gonna do this year if we are gonna do anything?
We're good.
What are
We
we
have,
waiting on?
yeah, we have, 7 culverts identified for headers and wing walls.
And you
Yeah.
also mentioned bridges in
And,
your report.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, we have lots of projects and not enough time
Yeah,
for personnel to do them all.
I totally understand, and that's, I know there's always a crunch during the season that we can actually do these projects, so.
If you had a master plan.
So an additional old
No.
business item is,
Just need a,
whether or not we need to look at the traffic ordinance again to do whatever we need to do to get the signs that we already decided that we would put up in various places. So there's some issue with
so
updating something.
the ordinance, so the town of Johnson just ran into some problems with towing a vehicle. And state law says that our ordinance has to follow the signs placed that say that the owners, that your vehicle may be towed at the owner's expense. They have to be on the signs.
What?
Yeah. In order for us to not have to reimburse for towing.
That's crazy.
So this came up,
It's like
this,
putting
I was
caution
made
thought
aware of
in
this
traffic.
because I kept requesting the no overnight parking signs for Depot Street. And so now those no overnight parking signs have to include a,
If you want to. If we can ticket them,
Yeah.
but we can't tow them.
just ticket
Because
them.
we have to say that if we tow them, it's at their expense.
Yeah,
we
we
have to
can't
let them
even
know
ticket them with my little homemade signs that are up there. We can't do anything.
Right.
So I'd
Who's
rather,
paying with that?
something, yeah. Well, now
On
that
Depot
they're,
Street.
now that they're not in a snowbank, they can be read again, but they're literally at the ground level, but,
Yeah.
we're just going into the season and I don't know, whatever the resolution is, but if we need to do that anyway, then we need to put it on a future agenda so we can,
Yep.
Do we have
whatever
no
needs to be
overnight
done.
parking other places?
Oh, yeah.
There's only overnight parking well, there's the certain portions of that. No, maybe not even.
I mean, Main Street.
Not during the
is overnight.
not during the snow removal season. There's no overnight parking period
On the roads.
on the roads.
Huh.
And streets that have been
But we don't
identified.
have, do we have to have signs up saying that you're gonna be towed at your own expense for that?
No, we just, if we tow them, we would likely have, say we need
Do
to
we ever tow
remove-
anybody?
we move,
Yeah.
yes, we
Yeah.
do,
We do.
okay.
yeah. So,
We definitely did the one on Depot Street because
yes,
that had tickets piled up on it and they didn't move it.
right.
Mhm.
So you can
Next
only
door.
whip a horse so many times and it'll just stop moving.
Yeah.
You can hook it
What
to
lights
a
you-
post, you can put signs up, you can, so it's
Okay,
people are just gonna keep doing what people do, no matter what the signs say.
do
But
we,
we will get signs and we will put them up, and we will
Okay.
ticket, and we will tow.
okay, great, take care of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanna follow up on one thing, Kaylee, it sounded like maybe you were interested in hearing a fund balance update. But we're not, the fund balance really only gets updated on July 1.
Okay.
No, but I support, that's what Casey said too, and that wasn't what you were asking.
Oh, okay.
I know what she was asking.
Our regular quarterly report we'll get.
I was only asking that
What
we've
we
made a lot
spent-
of commitments to the
What we've
fund
been
balance.
committed to verbally out of that fund versus what
Oh,
it
yeah,
actually
and that
is.
was in Casey's, letter in
It
our
was.
packet.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that, I knew
Got
that
it.
that's what
Yeah.
that's what
Oh, okay.
Kaylee and I were interested
I
in.
see, got it.
So the last paragraph of that email could have not existed yet. Thank you. Thank you, Casey.
Okay, great.
Good.
So any other new business, old business, or reports? Next, it looks like we have an executive session pursuant to 1 VSA 313 for contracts. Could we have a motion to
Are we including the town manager in that, or is it just?
include
What's
the
it
town
for?
manager? I don't know.
I don't know what it's for.
I hate not knowing what these things are for.
It's for the economic development loan conversation.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
we need
That we
to,
had already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
motion to go into executive session,
great.
including the town manager?
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, off we go.